Hi everyone, it's Eva Pietrzak here from Abundant Results Coaching, and today I'd love to share with you a daily technique that you can use to bust through your fears. I was teaching this technique during our entrepreneurial masterclass last week, and I just find it so valuable. And I have to deal with it quite a lot in my business, and I know if you guys are going for your C-type goals, for big worthy goals, you definitely hit fear. If you're not hitting fear, then you probably are not going for the right goals. You're going for something that you know how to get rather than the real deal, the fantasy goals. So if you were attending the masterclass, this is going to be a repetition for you, but there's nothing wrong with repetition. It will just solidify in your mind how to do it every day. If you haven't, it's going to be a phenomenal tool for you every day to deal with every fear that comes your way. So why are we afraid, guys? Well, fear is a natural component of achieving big worthy goals because our minds don't like discomfort. Our minds like certainty and doing the things that we're used to do. So going to the same job, being in the same relationships, living in the same country and getting the same results over and over and over again. The minute when we try to take action that is outside of comfort zone, that is a big, bold action towards our goal, the minute we decide to quit that job and set up that dream business, the minute we decide to go on a date with someone that we really love or we really like or we really fancy, the minute we make that decision to finally take care of our weight and do whatever it takes to do it, the minute we make a decision to change career, fear flips out. It's literally our minds go into what we call terror barrier. And we need to understand that it's nothing wrong and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be taking that action. In fact, if the action feels right and you don't take it, you're going to go back to a comfort zone and you're probably not going to step towards your goals. So it's very, very important to have a tool on a daily basis to deal with those fears. Most of fears are irrational. When you really break them down, you're not going to die, you're not going to go broke, but yet they're so emotionally huge that they overpower you, and then your mind comes up with excuses and you go back into comfort zone. Now, you don't go back into comfort zone because that's what you want to do. You do it because the fear is so unbearable that you just step back. And so how do we deal with fear on a daily basis? Well, let's say you are a newly made entrepreneur and you develop a habit of selling and you're petrified, right? I remember that from my own starting of this business. But it could be any example, guys. Could be to do with finally quitting that job, taking action, investing in a mentor, investing in that business of yours, going on that date with the person you fancy, asking someone to marry you. Anything at all can invoke fear. And if it feels right, the action feels right, just know that it's the right action. But what you need to do is reduce fear in order to bust through it and achieve the results you've desired. So how do you do it? Well, you ask yourself 4 questions. Number 1, so let me just go through example of developing the habit of selling, because it's a common one for newly made entrepreneurs and I deal with it on a daily basis with my clients. So let's say you're petrified of what people will say, whether maybe they will laugh at you, maybe your family will think you're going crazy, all that kind of stuff. You will fail, you will succeed, you're petrified of all these things. So what you want to do, you want to take a piece of paper and you want to write down all your fears. And don't worry, lots of them will be completely nuts and completely illogical. Still write them down because they're basically holding you back. So we need to reduce the emotional impact of those fears so that you can bust through them. And we can do it through rationalizing fear. So write it out. And let's say, okay, I'm afraid that people will criticize me. I'm afraid that people will not buy from me. I'm afraid that I will be laughed at. I'm afraid that my family will tell me I'm silly and I will fail with this new business. And what you want to do, you want to take each fear one by one and you want to ask yourself 4 questions. Number 1, am I going to die? Am I going to go broke? So let's say, are you going to die? Are you going to go broke if you fail with this business venture or with the new sales habit? Of course not. No, but your mind thinks that you will. Your mind is in a fight or flight response, nearly like a near-death experience. The second question is, what would I do if that fear actually happened? So let's say I failed with the selling. So I don't know, people laughed at me and I didn't fulfill my task or whatever. And what if I failed? What would I do? Well, maybe I would book a coaching call with someone with Eva to straighten me up, or I would talk to a good friend, or maybe I would just get better, talk to someone else who can train me in selling, and I would start again, right? So what would you do? Your mind needs to know that you have a survival plan, that you're not going to die. Even if the worst case happens, you're going to have a solution. And then the third question is, what can I do today to reduce the impact of this fear manifesting? So let's say I could train myself at selling. I could go read books in terms of selling. I could get a good coach helping me, or accountability partner. I could practice with someone, all sorts of things, right? And mentally, what you can do on a daily basis, you can be reducing your fears, writing them out, because otherwise when you go out there and start talking to people and try to sell, it will eat you up. And then last question number 4, what does it cost me emotionally and financially not to proceed with the action step? So you're going to find out that the answer to this is huge, because if you don't learn selling, you're not going to have a business. So your dream is not going to happen. If you, if you don't start going on these dates with those people that you truly admire, you will never find the right partner. If you don't sign up for the personal trainer in order to finally shed the weight, it's never going to happen for you. If you don't make a decision to quit that job and start looking for the job you truly desire, the cost is huge, not just financial, but emotional. So financial, you are looking at the opportunity cost. What are you losing out on if you don't take that action step? So guys, our worries and fears are natural components of goal achieving, and we just need to accept that they're here. In fact, when I asked my mentor, Bob Proctor, what do you do with fear, Bob? He said, I seek fear. I actually feel happy when I'm afraid, because I know that I'm moving the right direction. And what you guys have to know, I know as absurd that it sounds, you're moving in the right direction when you're afraid, but the action or habit feels right. And you need to have a tool to dismantle the fear, because otherwise what you're afraid of you will attract, and then create a vision of what you want as a result of your action step, and keep thinking about it, keep reading it, keep rewriting it. So I hope it's been valuable for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get to practice this on a daily basis. Take care.